too. Hey, this is Pittsburgh Pat on the blog again, and I'm here with Steve. Pronounce your last name for me, Steve.
Skarupa.
Skarupa. I don't want to like mispronounce
Three
somebody's name.
syllables.
Yeah,
Scott
I
Rupa.
I think that's the problem. I try to like skip ahead. I'm too
You
fast.
can call me whatever you want, but
Well, I'll call you like one of the best photographers I know, that's for sure. So, Steve and I went to the zoo and we met a anteaters and giant anteaters, and he took all kinds of pictures. It was awesome.
the man-eaters were crazy.
Yeah, but Steve has
Interesting too.
a couple really cool things we're going to talk about today. He's got this amazing wedding photography business that we'll talk about. We'll plug for him, but he also works at the racetrack, and I think a lot of people be interested in hearing what it's like to be around those kinds of vehicles and stuff. In fact, I saw you at the custom car show like last week or the week before, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we had Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. We had 19 cars at the World of Wheels show. It was 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I saw you on Sunday. It was exhausting, but it was fun. We got I think 237 emails during the
Wow.
weekend, so it was pretty successful. That was our goal, and for marketing purposes, and yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. So
Yeah, I didn't mention that Steve's a SEO and marketing wizard, internet marketing wizard. Hire him. And in fact, he takes care of my website. So
I do
yeah,
everything.
he's
I'm a
well.
jack
I
of
mean,
all
that's
trades.
but isn't that what we do nowadays? Like nobody has one job, at least nobody I know, unless you're
Yeah,
like a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, takes up all your time. But otherwise, like you just scramble, you know?
yeah. I had to learn everything from my business. Like when I first started shooting, professional photos, I didn't set out to have a business. I was just shooting landscape photos, and then I post them online, and then people started asking me like, "We shoot my wedding, we shoot my engagement session," and so then it turned into a business, and then I had to go back and learn everything about business and SEO and copywriting and marketing and every aspect of it. I went back and learned it. So I mean, I spent a year learning SEO because I thought there was stuff they were hiding, like they weren't telling me, and I just kept researching and researching. I did it for like a year. It was crazy,
Was there
but
stuff they weren't telling you?
no, it's SEO is like right out in plain sight. Like Google tells you what they want. Like if you just know what to look for on the search, like when you're doing a search, and the SERPs come up, the search engine results. If you just look at like the related stuff, that it's crazy how easy it is. We
Because it
tend to make
seems
it com
confusing to me, but like, and
we
I
we
know there's
tend to
other
make it
people.
yeah, we tend to make it complicated, but
Uh,
it's so easy. Google tells you exactly what they want, and if you just know what to do a little bit, and connect it all together, and you'll start getting a lot of traffic real fast. So
well, that's pretty cool. All right, cool. Dig it. So tell me about the track. So like where do you work?
it's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway. It is
Hmm.
in Imperial, PA,
Mm.
right off the Noblestown exit. The address is 170 Kelso Road, Imperial, PA 15126.
So that's southwest of Pittsburgh.
It is right by the airport. So it's
Okay.
we're out in the west. So
So
they
it's
call it the
more
West
west than south.
they call
Gotcha.
it the West Hills
West
area.
Hills. Yeah.
We're right next to Moon.
Mhm.
Everyone knows Moon, but no one knows Imperial.
Right.
But yeah, the track's in Imperial, and it's been there since I forget when they brought it over. But I don't know if anybody remembers Heidelberg Raceway, where the Walmart is now in Heidelberg. That's where this track was. And when they tore it down, or they're bulldozing Heidelberg, they brought everything out here, the light stands, the grandstands, the press box, everything, and they set it up out here, and now we have the track here. So,
Cool. So
and it's been
what
been
kind
there
of
since like the 80s. So,
cars do they race there?
we race Rush late models. We have Penn Ohio Pro stocks. We have hobby stocks. And then we have four cylinders, and then we have our young guns. They're like 13 to 18-year-old kids driving these cars like 100 miles an hour. It's crazy to watch them. And
Man,
they're the worst division because they bang it. They're not. It's a no contact division, and they bang each other all the time. And then they get black flagged, and then the parents come screaming at us, and it's just like dealing with the driver, the little kid drivers and the parents. It's just like, they're the worst division usually. So
Man, where was that when I was 13? That's exactly what I wanted to do when I was 13. Drive
I
as
used to,
fast as I
yeah,
could.
when I was 13, we didn't have that division. When I used to go to the track back in the day, we had super late models, limited late models, which was the same thing as the rush late models. They had the hobby stocks, and then they had modifieds, and that was it. Just four divisions, and then they added more over the years. So
Did you ever drive?
I have not drove a race car. There's one driver that asks me all the time to drive his car, but I don't want to make a fool out of myself. So and I don't want to wreck his car either.
Yeah.
I
Those
told
things
him
are expensive.
yeah, I said I don't want to wreck it, and he says, well, if you wreck it, I'll fix it. And I'm like, you know, it's not going to work like that. Like, but he asked me all the time, and I said, you know, if we're ever here and nobody's here, I'll drive it. But I'm not. I know.
You don't want to do it when anybody else on the track, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying? Or you don't
yeah,
want to do it in front of people.
yeah. That's it's not so much the people on the track with me; it's the people in the stands watching me. Like,
Oh.
but he's had a lot of
Yeah.
people drive his car through the years, and so I mean, I might drive it eventually. I don't know.
I read something the other day
The
about,
thing is the car's not very fast, so
okay.
he needs a better motor or something. I don't know. What'd you hear?
No, I mean, I heard somebody say if you want to learn something new, you have to be prepared to look like a fool for a while because,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm learning how to fight with sticks. I don't know, these actors are like they're certified in sword fighting and all this kind of stuff. And so like, I'm like, teach me, they're like, no, 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 don't do it like that. I'm like, well, tell me what to do then. Don't tell me not to do it like that. Show me how
yeah,
the correct way to do it. So it's pretty good though. They're pretty cool. Like they do once they get past that sort of like initial reaction, they do like impart their knowledge. But yeah, I mean, I'm usually the oldest guy in the class and I don't know what I look like. I guess I'm old enough. I don't care. I don't care what I look like anymore. I don't care what other
yeah.
people think, you know.
Knowing my luck, though, I would get in that car and I would like flip it or something. Like, that's my fear is like rolling the car. I
Yeah, I
just
don't think I ever want to roll a car. That's not on
no.
my list of
I
things to
mean,
do.
they're safe and you're not gonna get hurt, but you might get a little soreness. But
Yeah.
the roll cage will save your life. So
Yeah. Just shake you up a little bit, like riding a
yeah,
roller coaster or
you
something.
got to get your belts like the 5 point harness, so you got to get it super tight,
Yeah.
as tight as you can get it.
So you're
And then
like
they have the
part of
Hans
part of the
device
car.
now from Dale Earnhardt. They have the Hans device.
What's that?
But basically what it does is it attaches to your helmet because what was happening was when drivers would hit something, their neck would go forward. That's
Right.
what happened to Dale Earnhardt. And now with the Hans device, it keeps your head with your body. So when you hit something, your head doesn't move forward.
Gotcha.
It
Gotcha.
attaches to your shoulders and it has straps to the helmet and it keeps your head perfectly and it doesn't let it go flying forward.
That's pretty cool. So tell
Yeah.
me about these divisions that you're talking about. Like, what's the difference between these different like cars?
So like the Rush late models probably they probably hit about 130 on the straightaways, maybe 120,
Hmm.
probably like down to 90 through the turns, and then as the divisions go down, the speed goes down a little bit. The hobby stocks look almost like demolition derby cars,
Oh, okay.
and they get out of control because they're rear wheel drive sometimes, and they're super light, and
Hmm.
they put on the best show though. The hobby stocks,
Because
we
they
get
move
about we
around
get
a
a
lot,
we get
like a
about
fishtail
30
and stuff.
well, we get about 30 of them a week, and the competition is fierce in that division. So it's a pretty good division to watch. And then yeah, what are the divisions we got? The four cylinders, they're pretty funny to watch too, because they're front wheel drive cars, and they'll go into the turns and they'll go on three wheels through the turns. Like the one wheel lifts off the track. It's insane to watch.
So you say four cylinder, what are these like whole Hondas or like a Honda
They're like
Civic or
little,
something?
yeah, yeah, Chevy Cavaliers,
Chevy
basically.
Cavaliers? Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Like small
Some
light cars.
yeah, some guys build them custom.
Yeah.
There's one guy has it looks like a hatchback. Um, so yeah, they're awesome to watch. We're actually our first race is March 16th, and the four cylinders are going to be there. There should be a ton of them there, and then we have super late models are coming back that day. The ultimate late model series or something like that. Ulms they call it or something like that.
Okay.
But they're coming back from the first time in a really long time. And then we have the Rush Late models also. So no, not the Rush Late models. We have the Sprint. We have Sprint cars. My fault.
What's a sprint car?
Sprint cars are the fastest cars on dirt. They go about 150 miles an hour down the straightaway,
Mm.
and they're very tiny, and they have the big wing on the top, and the driver can actually adjust the wing as he's driving. There's a switch. There's like switches that he can flip, and he can
Oh, okay. I
wing
know
for the
these.
downforce and whatever other forces they got going on.
Yeah.
And those cars are insane.
I always wondered what those were for.
They hit about 150, 160 miles an hour at our track because it's a half mile. It's a huge track. And they're insane. But they're so fun
So
to
when you
watch.
say it's a half mile, it's a half mile on the straightaway, or it's a half
It's a
mile all
half
the way
mile
around the
oval.
oval?
Yeah,
Okay.
all the way around the
All the
oval.
way in the oval once is half mile.
It's a
So
half
like
mile
how
race.
long is the longest straightaway?
I don't know.
Is it like
I don't
drag
know.
racing, like a quarter mile? Like is there a
I
one
know. I know
oval,
the.
one part that's more elongated than the other?
Yeah, I know the track is 90 feet wide because our pit steward he tells the drivers all the time,
Okay.
track's 90 feet wide. You guys shouldn't be banging into each other.
Oh, because
But
there's
yeah,
enough room.
well, I can't answer your question though. I don't
That's
know.
okay. No, I was just curious. And then so
It's probably like a quarter mile. I
but you
kind of like
did
that.
mention that because I the only reason I thought of that is because at the car show we saw drag racers and I was just like,
Yeah,
um,
no, we don't do any
well, you wouldn't
drag
do that
racing.
on dirt anyway,
No,
right?
that's asphalt.
So you guys have a dirt track. That's pretty cool. So like they have to bring in dirt all the time to like fix it and stuff and like level it and pound it
Yeah,
down and all
so we reclay the track probably every 2 years.
that. Okay.
Couple years ago we did it 2 years in a row. We did a real heavy one, and then the next year we did kind of like a light one.
Mm.
And the track last season was the best I've ever seen it. It was
Mm.
just amazing. Our track crew guys did an amazing job all the time on it. Because once it gets wet, you got to run it. Then we have running cars, and they just keep running around the track. And then we have a grader, and then we have a thing called a sheep's foot. It's just this big thing. It's like a wheel, and it has spikes on it. And as it goes around the track, it puts imprints in the track.
Mm.
So when we water the track, it holds the water better.
Right.
And then yeah, so and then they have the
That
grader, and they grade it. And it's yeah, so.
so if you were somebody that really liked to like drive and just, not necessarily needed to be in the race, but just like to drive, you could be one of these runners that like gets in the car and just like runs it around the
Yeah,
track.
you could run in the track. Yeah.
That'd be a pretty cool job.
And the cars and trucks we use to run in the track, they're all beat up and like
Yeah.
some of them don't have brakes.
Yeah.
It's like
What do you do when the truck doesn't have brakes? We just like run it into a hay barrel or something?
we have an old water truck too that doesn't have brakes. And to stay on the track with the water truck, you got to get going about 50 miles an hour in it,
So you get, oh,
or you're just gonna slide off of it
because
because
they're
it's so
embankments.
heavy. And when the track gets wet, it's like almost like ice because it's
Okay.
clay. It's clay.
Hmm.
It's super slippery when it's wet. So
So you're not walking on this.
I've walked on it when it's soaking wet.
Yeah.
It's like walking on ice.
It's
Just got to be
hard.
careful.
So you said it was closed right now because I mean, obviously we live in Pittsburgh, so the weather's not like great in the winter. So when do you guys shut down? When you said you opened up on March 16th, first race?
Yeah, so we got new owners last summer, right around 4th of July. The track
Hmm.
got sold. And we got new owners, and they want to try to race in March this year. We usually start in end of April,
Hmm.
early May, but they want to start in March this year.
Hmm.
So we're going to start March 16th. We actually have practice on March 2nd and March 9th. They call it test and tune, where the divisions will come out and then they'll get so many laps each, and then yeah, they just test and tune. So and then yeah, the first race March 16th.
That's pretty cool.
That's actually my birthday, March 16th.
Hey, happy birthday then. Well, that'd be
Thanks.
easy to remember. Day before
I'll be
St.
22,
Patrick's
so
Day.
I'll be
Yeah.
22.
Oh, it's about time, Like
I say that every year.
that's awesome. Does anybody ever believe you?
What's that?
Does anybody ever believe you?
Nah.
I think I could tell somebody I look like a matey. I could tell somebody I'm matey.
I used to look
Um,
really young, and then one day I woke up and I look like I'm 90 now. I feel like,
right? I know, right? I'm like, where'd this double chin come from? And
yeah.
yeah, look like that old dude. That's why I
Well, what
wear
happened to
sunglasses and
me
a hat.
was I used to work construction in the
Hmm.
summer, and I taught skiing in the wintertime,
So
which
you're
is
always outdoors.
insanely physical.
Yeah.
And I was only like 180 pounds, pretty cut. And then I started working on the computer all the time, and I sit at
Yep.
a desk all day now, and now I'm fat, and
Yep.
so whatever.
That it is like people don't tell you one of the
I'm fat and
side
happy.
effects of like being a YouTuber or a programmer or
Yep.
write code or like you gotta stay still. You can't just like and
Build
people are like, oh, you
websites.
could get a walking desk. I got one of those walking pads, they call it. It's basically a treadmill with no like handles. And
Yeah.
it's you can do some things, you can browse, but you can't like use the keyboard. You can't write, you can't type. So like just doesn't work for most things. No, I know. Like I went to a nutritionist. I'm on a meal plan now. It's day 21. I've lost 8 pounds, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Congratulations.
like yesterday is my nephew's, we're celebrating my nephew's birthday, and they're like, "You want some cake?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "You want some cake?" I'm like, "No." They're like, "You want some cake?" I'm like, "Okay, I'll take a corner piece with a lot of icing." But like, I can only have like a tiny piece. I mean, I can have it, but like I only get like so many points a day.
Yeah, that's one of my old roommates was on that Noom, I think it's called.
I haven't tried that, but that's
Loom or
cool.
Noom.
Yep,
Yeah, and
Noom.
he had so many calories he could have a day.
Yep.
And the nights that he wanted to go to the bar, he wouldn't eat all day.
Yeah. Well,
All his calories would be alcohol.
people don't realize how many calories there are in
Yeah.
alcohol, and it doesn't like make you like full.
Yeah,
So
not at
of
all.
course, once you start drinking, I want to eat anyway.
Makes me,
But
I would always it make me hungry all the time.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
Well, actually, I would feel hungry and then I would drink. It was weird. It was
Oh
like my
yeah, well
trigger to
that's
drink.
actually a thing. So like when I've heard this when you're dieting, when you're trying if you're trying not to eat, which like mine's not really a diet, it's more of a meal plan in the sense that I can eat all the vegetables I want. Like I can eat broccoli and carrots until I turn orange, like
Yeah.
but like so that's not a big deal. But if you're on one of these ones where you can't eat, like say you're fasting before you get your blood taken or you're some kind of medical procedure, they say, just drink water because the water will satiate that. A lot of times when people think they're hungry, they're actually thirsty,
Yeah.
you know. So that's one of those tricks. But anyway, we got way off topic. So
That's all right.
no, that's cool. This is good time to transition. Tell me about the wedding business, man. That must be interesting. You ever meet any bridezillas or I mean, don't say specifics. I don't want anybody to get offended, but you know
Yeah,
how
no,
like
I won't mention names, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've had some pain in the ass clients, so
But I know you've had some cool ones though.
uh,
Like you took a trip to
yeah,
Jamaica for crying out
I
loud.
did. I got to go to Jamaica and shoot a wedding. The bride and groom paid for everything for me. I was there for 4 days or 5 days and 4 nights, something like that.
Wow.
I was able to take an assistant, but I was only going to be there for 2 days if I did that. And I asked a few people if they wanted to go, and they said no. So I went by myself. And they said if you split a room with Jason, which I knew Jason, I knew the bride and groom
Okay.
from college. And they said if you split a room with Jason, you'll get like 5 days, 4 nights. And I was like, let's do that. So
Heck yeah.
it was great.
Good deal, man. And
Yeah,
you
the
got paid
wedding
for it.
business. Yeah, and I got paid for it. And yeah, it was a great wedding. It was exhausting though because in Jamaica. I don't know if anyone's ever been there before, but it is the most humid place I've ever felt.
Mm,
The one day it was a Wednesday. I was out flying the drone in the morning at 9 a.m. and the real feel was 94 degrees at 9 a.m.
wow.
Just soaked in sweat. So the day of the wedding, it was all outdoors, and I just was by the end of the night I was so dehydrated, and I was chugging water all day. But yeah, it was fun. Um,
That's pretty cool, man.
so
So,
yeah, the wedding business is going pretty good. I joined back in 2019. I had no clue what I was doing with my business, and I needed help. So I joined a program called the Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator. We call it the WLMA for short. Jordan and Crystal are the owners of it, and that changed my business like insanely. I've learned so much from them, just not from even from a business standpoint, but like marketing and stuff, how to build a funnel. It's all about funnels and running ads and getting
Mm.
leads and nurturing the leads. And like, I've just learned so much from them, and they've helped my business out so much. So shout out to them. So
Well, that's interesting. You used the word funnel. When I was in the mortgage business, we called it a pipeline. So tell me why it's a funnel.
I don't really like the word funnel because I feel like when people hear funnel, they know they're getting
Yeah, that's
marketed
true.
to.
Yeah,
But like really, so it's the whole system is like you have a lead magnet on a website. It's like a free PDF or free ebook. You get their email address. Um, and the reason you want to get their email address when they come to your website, it should be your number one focus is to get their email address. Because when they come to your website, there's like a 99% chance when they leave, they ain't coming back to your website.
sure.
So if you get their email address, now you can start sending them an automated email series. So they start seeing you, like, because once they leave and you don't email them, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Of
So you
course.
start emailing them, and then you try to. What we do is we give away engagement sessions, and that's our lead magnet. And then we tell them, for if you want an extra submission to the contest, join my Facebook group. You get another submission, and then we say if you want another submission, join or like my Facebook page, and then another one for Instagram and stuff like that. But the trick is you want to get them into a Facebook group, and then you can really nurture them in there. And then they start seeing your work, and they start seeing how you operate, and they start liking you and trusting you because that's the
Right.
whole. You got to get them to trust you,
Well, yeah, and I
and
mean
then
some
your
of this.
cold leads become hot, and then the trick is we do the engagement session. We try to get them the photos that night or the next morning. And if you just blow them away with the experience with the engagement session, they book you for the wedding. So
Well,
I've
I mean,
booked
it
I've
makes
booked so many
sense.
weddings this way, and it's crazy how it works. Right now, I have no leads though. My leads went dry, but I was stupid and let them go dry. But I know how to get them back. Like I could run an ad right now, and by the end of the week, I probably have 100 leads. So
All right. So what you're saying is like if anybody out there is watching and they're planning their wedding, like you're available.
I am available.
All right, well,
Yes.
give them a call. All right. Well,
I
we
have a
put
lot
all
of
the information
availability, and I will give you a hell of a deal right now. So
in. See, that's the other thing. And then but I think what you're talking about is I understand it's a marketing strategy, but what it really is genuine in a sense that like I'm way more likely to hire somebody I know to do something. Like I needed some landscaping done in the back and I couldn't. I'm just getting old. It's just
yeah.
stuff I don't want to use a chainsaw. And like you know, I know somebody that does it, so I hired him. Not,
Hmm.
instead of going and trying to find some random dude off of Angie's list or something.
And
And you know
the
what I
other
mean?
thing,
So of course that's a good, thing. So once you're just trying to get people to get to know you.
yeah, get them to like you and trust you.
Yeah,
Go from
it's
there.
legit.
I
Yeah.
actually have on my blogs, I have a lead magnet on there for engagement session, and I've been getting leads a little bit here and there from it. So
That's cool.
I actually have a couple that I do have. So I do have a lead right now. It's a couple, and we're gonna do their engagement session here when the weather breaks, and hopefully they book me for their wedding. I don't know. We'll see.
Where do you like to go? A lot of people like going to Mount Washington. I always like the West
I
End
always
Overlook.
shoot. Yeah, I always shoot in downtown Pittsburgh.
You like downtown Pittsburgh?
I know so many cool spots down there we can shoot in.
That's cool.
I've been shooting down there for a while. It's kind of like my niche thing. So
Hey,
if you want photos in downtown Pittsburgh, hit me up.
I just thought of something. So my fight studio, their lease on the space that they're renting from this fencing studio is running out.
I saw
Guess
that.
you saw that.
I
Oh,
saw
you
your
saw me, yeah,
post.
because I posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any wide open spaces, like interior spaces, obviously are heated, but like they don't even have to be like nice, just like big. Yeah, let me if you think of that, let me know. Um,
Yeah, well.
yeah, cool. And then tell me about this. You're wearing a Pens jersey. Tell me about your Pens Insider thing.
So I do PR for Pennsylvania Motor Speedway, the racetrack. It's basically I do the results. And
So
what
you
was
post the rankings and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, I do, and I do a whole
Race
write up.
results.
I do this huge write up. It's like a big what happened, like the who, what, when, where, why they call it.
Cool.
But so the end of the racing season the one year, the Penguin season always starts. So I was like, I'm a writer, so I was like I wanted to write, so I started writing about the Penguins, and then last season I just posted them on I have a Facebook page for that,
Mhm.
pensinsider.com or Pens Insider on Facebook,
Yeah,
and
it's a group.
I was
I'm
just
a part of it.
posting them on there last season, and then this season I built a blog for it, and I'm posting them on the blog, and then I share them from the blog to the Facebook page, and there's
Nice.
probably 40 or 50 articles on the blog now because
Okay.
I think we just hit the game 46 out of the 82 game season. We're in the All-Star break right now. Actually, the Pens they play at home tomorrow night, but yeah, the All-Star game was this weekend, so they've been off for like a week. So
Yeah, the All-Star break's always like in that week between the playoffs and the Super Bowl for the NFL. It's always a weird low sports
yeah,
week, especially for pro sports.
I was so happy that the All-Star break came because I'm getting sick of writing for the Penguins, but Um, my ultimate goal with the Penguins blog and everything is I'm going to try to get a media pass eventually. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
definitely.
and then I'll be able to go to all the games and we'll see how it works out.
That'd be a plus. Hey, so tell me about your writing process. That's one thing that I talk about or ask about on my blog a lot, like people's creative process. So you talked about the what, when, where, why, how technique. Just talk about
Yeah,
that for a little bit. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there might be some nuances that you bring out.
so when I write for the track, I take notes through the night, like what happened, and like who took the lead on what lap and who wrecked and stuff like that. And I just try to make it interesting. People tell me they love it. So I don't really have a process. I just start writing. So
So you're just like telling a story.
yeah, basically telling a story of what
Hmm.
happened through the night, and if you just do that, the who, what, when, where, why comes out of it. So
I say that to
uh,
my friends. They're like, I have one friend, she's always like, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. And she's like, where do I start? How do I do that?
just
I
start
said,
writing.
yeah, I said, well, you can do it that way. Or I said, pretend you're having a conversation or actually have a conversation with with your friend or somebody that doesn't mind you recording, at least recording your side of the conversation and say, and just imagine you have one day to live. Imagine you have 15 minutes with this person and you got to tell them the most important thing, the most important thing in 5 to 10 minutes. And try start there. And you'll find out what you need to write about. Because like it should be interesting.
Yeah,
If you narrow it down to like that, like tell them the time you went skydiving, or tell them the best vacation you were on, or tell them the secret to like training your dog, or like whatever it happens to be your passion is. If you can imagine that scenario, you'll probably find it. And that's where I tell people to start. And then of course, nothing has to be that urgent or anything. But if you're only going to write one thing, like and then by doing that, it helps. I think it helps people because most people, when they talk, they tell stories. You know, because if you say like, "Where were you on 9/11?" People say, or what happened on 9/11. If you just say what happened on 9/11, most people don't say, oh, well, there was this event that happened and they were built. They say, no, no, no. I was shopping and I was going to PetSmart and I was down in aisle 4 and then this lady screamed and I said, what happened? And then she said, look at the TV. And you know what I mean? Like it's all personal. It's a personal narrative, right? It's
yeah,
not
oh
a
yeah,
it's not a historical event. And we identify with that. People identify with personal narratives, right? So
yeah,
so if you're writing about like a racetrack and what happened, I want to be able to like imagine I'm in the stands watching this race, So like that's why what you do is so cool because people can do that in a couple paragraphs and if they weren't able to be there, they can actually be at the event. It's pretty cool.
yeah. So when I write for the track, I have my opening paragraph, and then I write a paragraph for each division. Then I have my closing paragraph. So some nights I write like 10 paragraphs. It's insane, but because
That's
some nights we have 8 divisions, so it's like
so that's important. So you have a format.
yeah, pretty much,
That
yeah.
helps. That helps. People
I
don't think about that. Like you can do an outline, you can do a format, and that helps like,
yeah, you got to have a system. When I first took over the PR, and I did my first one, it took me 14 hours. It was horrible. And
now it doesn't.
I was like, why did I just take this on? Well, the thing is like you got to get like their hometown, the driver's hometowns. And those hometowns killed me at first. Now I remember them all, so I already know 90% of them. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And the ones I don't know, I know where to look them up real quick. So,
They're
um,
like a database in your head.
yeah, well, we have like the point system on our website,
Mhm.
and every driver's listed in there with their hometown. So I just go in there and that's where I get their hometowns. But yeah, that first time I remember it was just like 14. And I was a track photographer still, so I had to process all the photos too, and
Yeah,
I
so
did.
you're still the track photographer down there right now, right?
So yeah, so I was the track photographer first, and I was just doing that. And then they asked me to take over the PR because the PR guy was retiring. So I said, sure. I didn't know what the hell it was, but they explained it to me, and I'm like, oh, that sounds easy, but first. So that season, I did both photos and PR, and it killed me. And I was gonna quit. I was gonna be done at the end of the season, and I talked to the one owner, and I told him like I was like, dude, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much. And he said, "What do you need to stay here? What would make you stay here?" And I said, "If you let me hire a couple photographers, one full time and a couple part time, so I can just do PR and they can shoot photos," I said, "I'll stay." And he said, "Do whatever you need to do." So I brought on a couple photographers. I got Ashley Moyer, and she was amazing for 2 years. And then she resigned at the end of the one season because her and her husband started a woodworking business, and she needed to really focus on that, which I understood.
That's time
Um,
consuming having your
but
own
since
studio.
yeah, but since she quit, it's been not a lot of fun. I've hired a lot of idiot photographers that I had to fire, or they fired themselves
Yeah.
basically. Um, I had one guy, Trevor. He was great, but halfway through the season, he just stopped posting photos, and like half a season, he never posted photos. He had some personal issues going on, which I knew he had things going on that he wasn't telling me. It was very obvious, but he eventually told me what was going on, and I understood. And then I haven't heard from him for a couple years, but I just heard from him. He wants to come back. So I got that situation to deal with, but
Maybe he's
yeah,
your part-time guy for a while.
I hired one guy. He was going to be the full-time track photographer, and the first month or two, he called off like 4 times. I'm like, like you're the full-time guy,
That's not
like
a
you
good
need to be.
sign.
And he
Yeah.
would tell, and I told him from the beginning. I said, whatever you do, just be honest with me. I said, just be. I said, I value honesty more than anything else. Don't lie to me. Just be honest. Well, he was lying to me. He'd tell me, "Oh, I can't come to the track tonight because I have to watch my sister's dogs." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Are you kidding
So
me?"
people have jobs and they go to their jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't just do that. But yeah, so here, what I was going to ask you about the photography thing though was when you were the track photographer. So this involves a couple things, right? So like you actually go down there with like your giant camera, like and take photos like trackside, but and you do a drone too, right? Don't you fly a drone?
Yeah, I fly the drone. I don't fly it a lot. If we get a good sunset, I'll fly it usually. But
Hmm.
it depends on the wind also.
Mm.
So I really got to watch the wind. And the track's right in Class B airspace with Pittsburgh International.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's a 5 mile radius, and we're right at the edge of it.
Mm.
I get clearance through an app. It's real easy to do, but you can only go so high.
Yeah.
We're at like 200 feet, so
Yeah.
I don't usually don't go that high. Usually 100 feet's high enough. You're way above the trees. But yeah, I fly the drone. It's fun. It's not one of the acrobatic ones where you can chase the cars, but um, I've
Oh,
gotten a
that
lot of
would be
great.
cool. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot
Yeah.
of great shots. I got some video with it and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah. Something just occurred to me. So like I just had an idea of a shot like you're just hovering and the cars are coming out down the track and you're getting a long shot maybe or you're getting like a, you know, 45-degree angle shot. But then how low would that you want, like, you, how high would you have to stay so that the aerodynamic effects of the car don't affect the drone, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what
Like
you're
50
talking
feet or
about.
something like that,
No,
maybe, or is it higher?
I've been at like 10 feet.
You've been at 10 feet and it's
Yeah, oh
oh,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got some cool shots
And
that
they
way.
just like whip by the drone
Yep, they're
and
about 10
it
feet.
doesn't like destabilize its flight path.
No, that's fine.
Well, see, those things are amazing, man. I gotta get
I
one of
do it
those.
like on like when they start the race. That's like one of the best parts of the race when they
Yeah.
start,
Yeah.
because they're all just barreling down going into that first turn, and usually all hell breaks loose and they all crash.
Yeah, you always want to be like first into the turn, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, you got to get that first turn first. But
Uh, that's
um,
awesome.
and then we have a cone. They can't pass anyone before the cone, or they get docked 2 spots.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
they have to stay in they have to stay in formation until the cone,
I did
and
not
then they
know
can
that.
pass going into the turn. But
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty neat. I love it. I've been going to this track since I was like 6 years old. But back to the track photographers, I had such a bad experience with them all. Last season I just said I'm just going to do it myself, because I we had no photos for a couple years because everybody was just idiots. And so I did it myself last year. I did both. And it wasn't that bad. This year I'd really like to bring on a track photographer though, because I do a lot of work for the track from home. And if I can bring on a full-time photographer this year, it will allow me to stay in the press box, and I can have most of my press release done by the end of the night before I leave the track. And I won't be doing so much work on Sunday. I usually do like, it's usually about 12 hours of work on Sunday between the photos and the PR.
Wow,
So yeah,
it's a long day.
because when I come home from the races, what I do is I do quick results,
Mhm.
where it just lists like who won the feature, and then
Yeah,
1 through 20 or
like a
whatever
box
for each
score in
yeah, for
baseball or
each
something.
division. I do
Hmm.
that. That takes like an hour, and
Mm.
then I usually stay up all night writing the PR and doing the photos. So Sunday I'm just like a zombie. And
Yeah, I knew that you kept interesting hours, and that's we were talking about this the other day. I mean, there are some advantages to that. It's quiet. You don't hear a lot of noise. Usually, the
I get
neighbors
so
aren't
much done
screaming
at
at each
night.
other,
Yeah,
and you got faster internet. But like, people don't realize, I don't think, like what a toll it can take. So like, you don't get to, well, I mean, you're not in the mainstream sometimes. Like when we have these like jobs that are like, I don't want to say support, but they're like, they're time dependent, you know. I knew a
yeah,
dude that
oh
was a
yeah.
photographer for the Post Gazette, and like, it was just like,
You gotta get it done.
yeah, you gotta go. Like, you can't just have like a normal sleep schedule. Like that's just a luxury, you know.
Yeah,
Like that just doesn't happen. The editors can, but like the if they know that their deadline is 7 o'clock, before they gotta send everything to print, then like, that's their deadline. But like events happen when events happen, and like, you
yeah,
gotta be out there. It's crazy. So
oh yeah.
there's a lot of stuff to photography. People think, oh, I'm going to be a photographer. It's going to be so nice. I'm going to take pictures of butterflies in the field. And I'm going to go, and it's like, it's a little more than that. It's physical work. Sometimes it's non-physical work. Sometimes you're in front of your computer for 12 hours.
Yeah,
So,
I can process the racing photos really fast. I use Lightroom. I put a preset on them,
yeah,
and
you like Lightroom. Yeah.
I go through each one,
Hmm.
and I adjust like the exposure, make sure the exposure is right,
Hmm.
and then I send them. Like that's all I do. Preset, check the exposure, and delete all the bad ones, and then send them. So
Well, like everybody can see your background, here, which is like those fireworks is amazing. And that's like a hard picture to
yeah,
get.
that's Pittsburgh fireworks.
Yeah, that's hard. That's
That
hard to
was
do.
like 2017 or 2018, and
Great reflections on the water.
yeah, that's from the roof of the casino actually. The
Oh, is
parking
it?
garage. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
they have the parking garage, and I went up on the roof. I
Hmm.
got there really early. That it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I was gonna say there's probably a ton
I
of
set
people there for
Well,
fireworks.
no,
Yeah.
there was nobody there yet. I set my tripod up right in front so nobody could get in front of me, and
Nice.
it was great. Until at the end of the night, when I went back on the tee back to the other side of the city, right by Wood Street, there was a shooting, and it happened right behind me. I thought someone threw fireworks in the street, but it was a shooting. I heard bang, 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 and I was like, I started laughing because I thought it was fireworks. And when I turned around to look, people were running at me like a stampede. uh, I had to start running or I was gonna get run over, and it was insane.
Pittsburgh is different at night, man. It's
It was
not,
quite
you
the
know what I mean? Like
experience, but it was right in
it's crazy.
downtown.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was two juveniles shooting at each other, and they have terrible aim, and they shot some lady in the head, and it was just a
Oh,
mess.
Jesus.
And as we were running, the cops were running that way, like, and all you hear is sirens, and I just ducked into an alleyway, and I had to process what was going on. It took a
Yeah.
minute. Um,
Smart.
I called my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, "You'll never believe what just happened. There's shooting right behind me, right?" Because when you come into the T station, you're underground. You have to walk up the steps.
Yep.
Soon as I got to street level, I mean, it was like probably 10 feet away from me. It was
Wow.
insane. Yeah, it was crazy how close it was.
I'm glad you're
So
still here. Glad I got to meet you.
yeah,
I
me
don't even
too.
think I knew you then, but like, yeah, but
Yeah,
what I was
it's
getting at
many
is
of them.
your photographs amazing. And if people want to see more of your work, where do they go?
I'm on CloudSpot right now.
Hmm.
I don't
Just
know the
under,
ad. I don't know the address off the top of my head. Let me
yeah,
just
but
check it
just
real
under
quick.
like Steve Skarupa.
Yeah, if you just go on Google and search Steve Skarupa Photography, a
Mhm.
whole ton of stuff will come up.
All
So,
right. That's
and then
cool.
you can do my wedding site is 412brides.com. And
412brides.com.
yeah, and you can Google that also, 412 brides, and a bunch of stuff comes up for that too.
Dig
It
it.
kind of mix matches with Steve Skarupa Photography and 412 brides. Um, I
Nice.
created 412 brides a couple years ago just because wedding couples are looking for an expert. They don't want like a general photographer. They want
Yes.
somebody that specializes in weddings. So
Yes.
all the gurus tell you make a website, branch out off of it, strictly weddings and engagements, and yeah, that helped a lot. So
Good deal.
412brides.com.
We covered a lot of territory today. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know, not that I can think of.
All right. Cool. Well, it was great talking to you. We'll probably have more of these
Yeah,
conversations as we go forward in the future, and especially once race starts and your
yeah,
birthday starts the season. That's pretty cool.
yeah. Another trip around the sun.
All right, everybody that's watching, go to Steve's Google. Just Google Steve Skarupa and find his stuff, and I'll find some stuff. Put links in the description box below, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good night.
Gee.